Hey Leo, Mariah here. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing really, really well. So of course I want to get into your messages. I'm going to leave it open-ended. Whatever comes out, comes out. But let's see, what is it that Spirit wants you to know at this time, especially as you move through March. So Spirit guides, angels, and sisters, what is it that you would like for the collective group of Leos to know at this time? What is so important? We got the Devil in the reverse, 9 of Pentacles in reverse, 6 of Cups, 6 of Cups is in the reverse too. 5 of Swords in the reverse. Can you tell me more? Who's it? Will Smith. Will Smith is coming to mind, but specifically the movie Pursuit of Happiness. So I don't know if somebody's a Will Smith fan. Maybe you like his movies. Maybe you just were recently watching one of his movies. But the Pursuit of Happiness, it almost reminds me of somebody feeling like they're in a bit of purgatory, feeling like they're gridlocked, like somebody's hands is tied. Like, I don't want to sound too crazy saying this, but it's like somebody wants to escape from something. I don't know if you're wanting to escape from your reality, if you're wanting to escape from a job situation, a living situation. It's like you are still either legally, financially, materially, to a degree, even emotionally obligated or still obliged to something that you just don't want to be anymore, and you want your freedom. You want to be able to go and pursue and live life the way you want to. But it feels like despite efforts and despite attempts, somehow you still end up back at ground zero feeling, again, hands are tied, feet are tight, and you can't really move. But it's not in the mind. This is like literal, like either financially you can't make the moves you want to, resourcefully, or you're obligated to something, someone, or a situation you can't move. This ain't mental. This is like your day-to-day life. Something that's real. 8 of Wands, wow, Hermit. And like I said, the 8 of Wands. This feels like someone who's almost trapped within themselves, within them circumstances. So let me ask you this, Leo, and I hate to go too personal with you because I don't want this to be that kind of reading, but here we are. Who do you have in your corner? Who do you go to? Who do you talk to? How do you even decompress? How do you, especially if this relates to you, if this is your reading, because it won't be for everybody, of course, but how do you deal with those moments of frustration and aggravation when you want to be able to be free of a circumstance, but you just can't? Despite efforts, despite attempts, this almost feels like you have a boulder on your back and you can't really breathe. This reminds me of somebody who is stuck in a job and they can't leave because of their bills, or somebody who is stuck in a court or litigation situation and they can't be free and they're being held up by the court. Somebody that is stuck in a relationship and either can't get out, don't know how to get out, or emotionally it's hard for them to move on. Somebody that wants to be able to make a certain amount of money so that way they can get out of debt or be able to live life on their terms and have financial freedom. But because we are either in debt or we don't make the kind of money we need to be able to move the way we want, we just feel like we're stuck. Someone's stuck here. Why is this so important for me to highlight this for Leo? Whoa. Why is this so important, Spirit? Ace of Wands, 7 of Swords in the reverse, Tower in the reverse, 9 of Cups in the reverse, 4 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, and the Emperor in the reverse. I go back to like I said, that movie Pursuit of Happiness and the struggles and trials that Will Smith had to endure to finally be able to make it out on the other side. This is like having to do some things that may not feel comfortable in the moment, but it gives you back your freedom. Having to do something that is literally the last resort that we've been avoiding having to do, but that is really the only choice that we kind of have to be able to have our escape from this either reality we're in, this experience we're dealing with, or these situations we're having to face. And there is a part that's stubborn about not wanting to have to make this choice, because it is an uncomfortable choice. It is a choice we don't want to make. But when I'm not seeing an exit plan out of any other option but the option that you really don't want to take. So if I was to give you an example of this, Leo, this reminds me of, let's say if you're in financial hot water, right? And you're not making the amount of money you used to make, or maybe you're dealing with financial issues. We already know what's going on with the economy right now, and you got debts above your head, and it's like, I can't, I'm just being swallowed under. You may have to file for bankruptcy even if you don't want to, but it gives you back your freedom. But it's a choice that is the last resort choice that you don't want to make. You want to try and get another job, or get a job that pays you well, or figure out how to make your money work for you so that way you can get out of debt or get to where you want to be financially. But because you're not really making headway, it's all roads are kind of pointing to buying back your freedom, getting back your freedom. There's something here about liberation that's really important for you. And that's also too a very true testament, especially as we're moving into a new season, spring cleaning. It feels like Spirit is wanting you to really remove and relinquish any type of dead weight, any type of dead debris, any type of dead situation, circumstances that we may have carried from the winter, that we may have carried from the fall, we carried from the summer of last year, or the year prior, or the year prior to that. Having to this time really let that go so that way you can step into a new season. Yes, you will come out on the other side a little bit wounded or a little bit scathed, meaning that, yes, you had to make a choice that you didn't really want to. It was uncomfortable for you in that moment, but you will feel liberated. You will feel free. You will feel like finally you get to stretch your legs and really start making movement in the direction that you want. It's like you have to, the foundation that you're on has so many cracks, you can't put another band-aid on it. You know, it's just, you can't. And it feels like Spirit is wanting you to be that rose that grows from the concrete. However, the concrete, that foundation that we're on, cannot stabilize our growth anymore. It just cannot. We cannot grow in that direction. So it on Spirit, and Spirit is trying to show you that, hey, Leo, this option that you want is not going to work. That option that you want is not going to work, because those options are still going to continue the current situation dynamic onward. So it's like Spirit is having you say, or having you see, I should say, you got to take this option, because even though it's uncomfortable, it will fully eliminate this entire situation from your life, even though it's uncomfortable. So this is one of those choices. Well, there we go. 2 of Wands, 3 of Swords. This is one of those choices that in the heart space, it may, again, be either uncomfortable or it may sting a little bit at first. But on the other side, it's like, soon as you make that choice and you move forward with it, it's like it wasn't as bad as you thought it would have been. It's not as scary. It's like you're going to find your footing. The biggest part of the fear is doing it, picking that option that we don't want to pick. That's the biggest. This is all psychological. Even though we may know what the ramifications may be on the other side, it really is psychological, because it feels like Spirit is showing me kind of like a rose garden that opens up. So as you make that move and you move forward towards it, again, uncomfortable as it may be, you're going to realize as you're on the other side walking through like this rose garden, again, mentally for me, that you have that freedom again, that you do have the ability to realize, okay, I thought it was going to be harsher consequences after making this choice, or I thought I was going to be in probably a worse situation after making this choice, but actually it turned out for the best. And that's what this feels like. The choice that you don't want to make, that's super uncomfortable, actually turns out in your favor. We just don't know if it'll turn out in our favor because we don't have reassurance or confirmation of the outcome that it will. So we tend to inflate that what ifs, or if this happens, or the circumstances, or things that we may have an understanding that could potentially happen to us if we make this choice. But all of that's mental. Once you're on the other side, it's like, oh, if I would have known this would have been how it played out for me, I would have been made this choice. If I would have known it wasn't going to be as bad as I thought it would when it comes to the repercussions of making this choice, I would have been made this choice. So I've had myself stuck and held in this position for longer than I wanted to, even though it feels like you really had no choice. Because again, this feels like you were tied to something, or you are tied to something. But once you made the decision you didn't want to make and you made it, it's like, oh my God. So Leo, I don't know how this necessarily relates to your March. Maybe if whoever this resonates for, maybe some of you are going through the mental process. Maybe some of you are at the precipice of making that choice and having to make that choice. And maybe some of you are on the other side, and you can attest to that it not being as bad as you thought it was now that you're on the other side. But this month in March, it's like Spirit's having you clean up house. You're having to let something go that you haven't been able to let go. And it's not because, and here you go, strength. Yeah, it's not because you didn't want to let it go. I just think you were tied. Like you could not. Like whether it's financially, you couldn't, legally, you couldn't, emotionally, you just could not. You've been tied in a situation. And now it's time to really relinquish that. Let it go as you're here with the Strength in reverse and keep moving forward. I'm very curious for you though. How are you processing this? How are you dealing with this? Because this feels heavy. It does feel a little heavy, Leo. So I hope this connects for someone, whoever this is for. I guess maybe this is just to give you reassurance that, hey, that choice that you don't want to make actually plays out much better for you than what you think. And I guess maybe this is just a confirmation for whoever this is for. So Leo, I'm going to let you go. If you would like a private reading, the link is in the description box below. And see you next time. Bye.